Hello and welcome to this video tutorial on the European Defence Industry Programme, otherwise referred to by its acronym EDIP. My name is Alexandra Marksteiner. I work for the Directorate General for Defence Industry and Space of the EU Commission, and I will guide you through this presentation. Today, we will be focusing on the Design Authority eligibility criterion. Let's dive into it. To safeguard the Union's security and defense interests and to ensure the operational autonomy of member states, the EDIP regulation requires beneficiaries to have design authority. This is defined in Article 10.5 of EDIP and Article 27.5 of the Ukraine Support Instrument as the, quote, ability to decide without restrictions imposed by non-associated third countries, other than Ukraine in the case of UC, or by other third country entities, on the definition, adaptation, and evolution of the design of the defense products concerned, including the legal authority to substitute or remove components that are subject to restrictions imposed by non-associated third countries, other than Ukraine in the case of UC, or by other third country entities, end quote. For those receiving funding for industrial reinforcement actions seeking to bolster the production capacity for missiles and ammunition, there is a possible derogation for this rule under Article 12.4. It stipulates that if they do not yet have design authority, beneficiaries shall, quote, obtain a legally binding commitment from the non-associated third country or the non-associated third country entity concerned that they will obtain such ability to decide within a reasonable timeframe commensurate with the complexity of the action concerned, and in any event no later than the 31st of December 2033. End quote. So what does this mean in practice? In simpler terms, having design authority means being able to exercise full technical and legal control over the design of a defense product. In practice, this includes 1. The authority over the system architecture, 2. The capacity to modify specifications and performance baselines, 3. Control over the integration and interfacing of components, 4. The legal right to remove or replace restricted components, and 5. The absence of legal or contractual veto rights by non-associated third countries and/or non-associated third country entities that would allow them to prevent, block, or otherwise restrict the Union recipient from deciding on the design of the defense product as a whole. Here it is important to note that the design authority concerns decision-making authority at the product or system level, and not at the component level. Moreover, the proposed implementation approach deliberately focuses on control and decision-making capacity and not on the disclosure of sensitive technical content or trade secrets. So how will design authority be verified? For beneficiaries of funding for common procurement actions, European defense projects of common interest, and supporting actions, it is up to the procurement agent and/or the Structure for European Armament Programme legal framework to verify compliance. For beneficiaries of funding for industrial reinforcement actions, it is the European Commission itself that verifies design authority directly. There are a few more differences in the verification mechanisms for the different actions, as shown here in the matrix. As a reminder, for CPAs, EDPCIs, and SAs, only the general rule regarding design authority applies. Applicants submitting proposals for industrial reinforcement actions may also rely on a derogation from the general rule under specific conditions. At the submission/grant signature phase, applicants for CPA, EDPCI, and SA funding have to provide a declaration on honor confirming compliance with this requirement. The declaration is included in the application form under the Declarations section. The same goes for entities applying for IRA funding that already have design authority and can apply the general rule. Applicants for IRA funding that do not yet have design authority and are thus requesting a derogation from the general rule have to provide a declaration on honor as well as a legally binding commitment that they will have design authority by the end of the action and no later than the 31st of December 2033. Regardless of action type and irrespective of whether the general rule or derogation is applied, beneficiaries will be asked to report on compliance during project implementation. The Commission may also issue requests for clarification and justification. This concludes our presentation for today. Thank you for your attention.